Hey, now say, now look at it. This is Mr. Vintage, aka Vintage Dez from Dallas, Texas. What's happening? So, for those who just following along, I've been doing this journey, right? And it's basically been going through some business principles that one of my mentors, CEO Matty J, have established and created over the years. And his whole thing was that he's always went through it, but nobody else has successfully been able to go through it. And so he knows it works, but there's been nobody that's been committed enough and self-disciplined enough to be able to go through it so he can show others that it works for more than just himself. And so, me being the individual that I am, I signed up for the challenge. So if you just coming along, then I really suggest you go back and watch the other videos, because I've literally been going step by step by step through the whole process. Why am I doing this? Simply because I want to be able to help out somebody who's delivered so much value to me, right? And if I'm able to be a case study for him, then that'll show other people that they too can do it. And it's not just one person, right, who can do that. That's number one. Number two is, if you're trying to be a master and your goal is to be a master, then you must first be a student, right? And then once you've learned something, you then have to repeat it to make sure that you've ingrained it into your head. And then once you've done that, you then have to teach it, because until you can teach, you can't really be a teacher, right? And so once I'm able to teach it, then that's when I know that I can go to that next step and that next phase. And so before I can even teach, I have to go through it myself. And so basically, for you guys watching me, before I even record, I've already had to go through it myself, right? Because that's the hard work. Then when I upload and I do a video, that's me now re-going through it again so I can repeat it and get that imprinted into my head, right? And then after that, then I'm able to teach. And then once I've done teaching, I can now go to that next step. So that's what the whole purpose of this is. So where I'm at right now is I'm on, what phase for one, I'm in the wrong phase, right? So let me go back to preparation. See, I'm trying to jump ahead already. All right, bet. So now we're on the right one, right? So basically where I'm at right now, when it comes to this, to these phases, I haven't even made it to first grade yet. So all the videos you've seen up until this point, and if you go back and watch, which I highly suggest you do, then all the videos you've seen up until this point is not even in first grade yet. This is just preparation, right? So if you look on the screen, what you can see is that I've done the self-evaluation. I've done a contract to myself, right? I've removed negative thoughts, from myself. I've done a self-interview, right? What else have I done? I've organized my environment. So my before and after pictures of my bedrooms, my closet, my living rooms, offices if you have them, etc., bathrooms, etc. So I've completely decluttered any clutteredness that there was, and it was very few, for myself. And I've made sure that I've got everything organized, because again, when you're trying to build an organization, it starts with being organized, right? And so I made sure that everything is clear. When I walk into my home, I want everything to flow freely. I don't want a lot of clutter, because if it's clutter in your home, then that means it's clutter in your mind. And if it's clutter in your mind, that means it's clutter in your life. That's just how it go. That's the law, right? So I wanted to make sure that everything that I had was able to flow freely. And then, of course, with then doing that meant I had to make sure that I, at that point then, organized organized and managed my media consumption, right? And so that looked like, doing the toxic television shows, movies, music, apps, websites, email subscriptions. Like, I'm not gonna go out. You can go into all the other videos to be able to see exactly, how I did that. I'm not gonna, bore y'all with going through everything. Then I had to do my health. And so, bam, now it takes me to where we are today, right? Which it says, organize the place and people you associate with. Show me your friends, and you'll show me the type of person you'll be. That's deep. So let's open it up and let's see what he was talking about. And I gotta come up here. There you go. So bet. So I did it right here. So I guess what I could do is open it up in another window, huh? Make it a little easier for you. I bet. Boom. Here we go. Bet. So I did the environmental management. So basically, you just had to go through and answer questions. So again, the whole purpose of me doing this is really for documentary purposes only. But my goal, like I say in every video, is hopefully you'll be able to see my thought process and how I'm able to know how I maneuver through it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just showing you somebody else who's doing it as well. And then you can see, how I was able to break things down, and then hopefully that can help you in some way, shape, or form on your journey. So that's really all this is, right? So now, like these are, matter of fact, these are simply my opinions, right? You can have yours. I'm just, again, giving you an example to go off of. So when we look at it, so what he begins with is saying that the choices that we make are influenced by the people we associate with. Very true. And then the people we associate with influence our growth or downfall. They are either for us or against us. There is no in between. Man, that's a fact. The people that you associate with, they either for you or against you. Ain't no gray areas. And if you feel like it's a gray area, then go ahead and act like they're against you, right? Because that's just gonna distract you, right? Many people think that they can accomplish things by their own willpower, when in reality, we can't accomplish anything impactful on our own, nor should we want to. We are an average of the 5 people we associate with the most. What do I mean? Our brains are shaped by our environment and our peers. Our associates raise or lower our standards. If our friends don't hold us accountable, then we must realize their actions show selfishness and no care for us. And that's deep. He said our associates raise or lower our standards. No in between. The individuals you associate with, are they raising your standards or are they lowering your standards? Think about that and be honest with yourself. Because see, a lot of times we allow that emotion and we allow that comfortability to keep us in one place. And then when somebody do come along, or when we got an individual that do come along, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in friendship or whatever, and they trying to hold you accountable and they building you, and you don't like that feeling, right? Because it's uncomfortable. Then you want to easily let them go, and we all guilty of it, right? Then you want to dismiss them because this too much work. I'd rather go back where I was comfortable at and where I can still be comfortable and be able to chill, right, where it feel good. But medicine on our way tastes good. You feel me? And so that's basically what it's saying right here. And if our friends don't hold us accountable, then we must realize their actions show selfishness and no care for us at all. Whether they know it or not, whether they mean it or not. Intentionally or unintentionally. If your friends don't hold you accountable, if your friends don't have a certain standard that they hold you at, if your friends don't try to make sure every day that you're great, then they don't care for you. Their intent can be good, but the action is what it is. The actions show that they don't care for you. So follow that action, not your intent, not that heart, right? But anyway, let me get down to the questions, right? So bam. Ask you questions like, are you single, dating, or married? My whole thing is if you're not married, then you're single, right? Do you have any children? No. I got a godson, no, but any of my own, no. What's your current life goal? Like I said in one of my past ones, to be loved and appreciated. What type of person do you want to be? This is not what I want to be, this is what I am. I am an authentic, compassionate individual who lives out his purposes. List the standards of their goal. So for me, those who I look up to should be individuals who have accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish already, by a long shot, or who are a couple of steps ahead of me, because sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need to be able to see over that next level. And if it's somebody already there, then I'm gonna learn from you, right? I was always told that you're never too young to teach and you're never too old to learn. And Maya Angelou always said best that, currency is the new knowledge. So learn everything, right? And so anybody who can teach me something, I'm learning, period. There's no ego attached to that at all. And then it goes to saying, where would these individuals, what places would these individuals attend, right? For me, online, in the moment. And that's going to be important. I'm going to explain to you why. Because, see, a lot of times people want to, travel to these different events and things like that, and that's good if you can afford to. But a lot of individuals can't. So do not let that, stop you. Do not, let that hold you stagnant to where you at when we have the whole internet, the whole web, right, available to us to where we can be able to go online and just change. All we got to do is change the people that we're giving our attention to right now, right? So you might be giving your attention to your favorite celebrities or your favorite people that you look up to. Okay, put that on pause and start giving your attention to individuals who talking about something. What's that next step you're trying to accomplish? You're trying to learn more about finances? Tap into individuals who know a lot about finances, right? You're trying to learn how to structure a business? Tap into people who doing that. Right? You're trying to see how to take your business to that next level, and whatever that niche is, then find somebody in that niche that's online and that you have faith in and that's proven themselves, and tap into them. Just change what you're giving your attention to. The information is out here, but the information is useless if we're not applying it, right? So just tap in and change, who you're giving your attention to. So that's what I mean when I say online. Types of conversations you should be having. For me, I always love conversation that got to deal with, problem solving, right? So anytime you catch me in real conversation, even if it's leisure, some way, shape, or form, outside of us just shooting the stuff or whatever, then it's gonna be, problem solving conversations. And it's gonna be asking a lot of questions, especially if I'm trying to learn. I don't care who it is. I'm asking a lot of questions because in that moment, I'm trying to learn as much as I can in a short amount of time frame as I can, because I'm gonna take whatever I learned and that's gonna allow me to be able to move, based off of the information I'm being given. And then of course, like I said, problem solving conversations, right? Because too many times people be focused on the, on the problems. Okay, that's cool, that's the problem. So now what's the solution? How we gonna fix that? And if you're not talking about how to fix that and you're just complaining, then I can't converse with you. Right? Because that's not how my mind wired. My mind is wired on being able to recognize a problem and then fixing it or solving it or finding somebody to be able to fix that need and fulfill that need. I have an entrepreneur mindset at heart. So if we're not talking about a problem to be able to see how we can fix it and solve it, then there's no point of us talking about it. That's how I was raised. The way you dress. In this moment, it's something slight, right? And for me, I don't put too much focus on your choice of clothes, because it'll distract you from the mission. And again, it's just where I'm at right now, right? Because, everybody has, been at that point to where they had, just clothes, just so they can make sure they're looking good and feeling good and, got too many different options of shoes to choose from, too many different clothes, too many different shirts, too many different jackets, too many different hats, too many different pants, accessories, and all that is cool. Promise, I trust you. I've done it. I've been there. However, where I'm at currently and with my new vision, right, that just distracts me from the mission at hand. If I got to wake up every single day and try to figure out what I'm going to put on, and it take me 35, 40 minutes, an hour to figure out what I'm going to put on, that's a problem. You feel me? So in this, at least for me in this moment, I need to know exactly what I'm doing every single day because, again, for those who watched the other videos, I'm racing against a clock that I cannot see. And I'm fighting against a person that I cannot see. And so for me, I got to make sure I dot all my I's and cross all my T's. And so if that hour that I'm spending putting on clothes can cost me, then I'm going to see how I can get that hour back. Because I can't get no more time in the day. It's only 24 hours, right? So now the thing is, how can I be able to capitalize off of and be more efficient with the time that I'm giving? And so if that hour can be used a whole lot more efficiently, then that's what it's going to be used for. And so that's why I say at this moment, for those who really trying to go somewhere and they're trying to achieve something with a sense of urgency, then try to get back your time first. It's just like with making money. Before you can try to make more money, okay, you already got money, so see where you can save it. And you might realize that, you got an extra 1,000, an extra 1,500 that you're putting back into your pocket off of just saving. And so then it'll keep you from having to go out there and find a job that's going to give you an extra 1,000 or 1,500. And it's the same thing with your time. We can't get more time in a day, but we can optimize and see how we can be more efficient with the time that we've already been given, right? So that's why I say don't put too much focus on your choice of clothing, because it'll distract you from the mission. Again, if you have a mission that you're trying to act on ASAP and with a sense of urgency. If not, then, do you. Hey, and real quick, man, before anybody get my words mixed up and be like, hey, man, Benny said, bro, just wear whatever, be raggedy. No, that is not what I'm saying. Still make sure you smell good, still make sure you look good, still make sure you look presentable. What I'm saying is don't spend too much time trying to build up a lot of wardrobe when you don't even have time to be able to accomplish your mission. It's a difference. So still look good, still be player with it, still smell good, still be presentable, but don't spend too much time on buying a whole bunch of crap when that's not your main priority at the moment. That's all I'm saying. You feel me? So now, let's jump back into what we was talking about. The things that you should watch. So for me, documentaries and interviews, like I said, is what I watch heavily. Documentaries on history, the greats, the legends, people's failures, people's success, seeing how people built certain things and seeing what inspired people to build and, what inspired people to move this way, or is this something that's already repeated itself, or did this happen in the past? And if so, how did that end out? And then that allowed me to be able to see, okay, so how do I feel like it's going to end, now, or where it's going to be going towards the future? So I'm always trying to analyze, right? And I'm always trying to figure out, okay, what's the next move, right? Because you always want to make sure that your next move is your best move. And so if you don't educate yourself on that, if you're not able to be able to pick up on what's going on and place yourself in front of, then you're going to be one of the individuals that, catch on to something when it's too late. And we've all, been guilty of that, right? We weren't able to invest into the internet. We didn't know nothing about it, or Google, or, the Instagrams and things of that nature. But we live in a point in time to where we can be able to create something as long as we see it, right? And as long as we're able to be able to see what's coming or see a trend and see where it's going, and then be able to build something to put at the forefront of it, to be able to already mark your territory, plant your flag in the ground, for when that time comes and they need your services, then you win it. And so that's why I always like watching different documentaries and, in interviews and studying the greats and the legends to be able to see how they thought back then and see how they think now. And then I use out of that, and I take that in and I decipher what I want, right? I eat the meat and then spit out the fat. And then I allow that to be able to become part of my DNA with how I move around. The things that you should listen to. So, like for me, podcasts, and music of the greats and the legends. So like I told you in one of my other videos, like, podcasts are good, things like How I Built This, or, Dave Ramsey, or, the Grant Cardone's, or, Earn Your Leisures, or, it's all type of different podcasts out there that actually talk about good stuff. And so what I do is, if I'm riding or if I'm about to work out or if I'm just walking, then sometimes instead of having music in, most of the time, instead of having music in, I'm putting something on that's going to put some fat on my brain, right? Because again, we always learning, and we should always be learning, right? And then outside of that, when I am listening to music, it's going to be music that's educating me in one way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, the message itself is not going to be a shallow message. Whatever I'm listening to, it's going to have some meaning behind it. And that's always been who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's always been how I live. I love listening to stuff with meaning behind it because, again, like I said in one of the last videos, you got to watch what you putting in and what and what words and whose words you quoting, because that's affirmations, right? So when you spit them words back out verbatim, you putting that into the universe. Be careful with what you put into the universe, because it's going to come back to you. Then it say, what things do you read? So for me, books on the greats, again, books on the greats and legends. So it's all the same thing. So my whole thing is studying the greats, studying the legends, right? Studying, history. And so either I'm going to do that through a visual, meaning documentaries and things of that nature. I'm going to do that through podcasts. I'm going to do that through books, audio books. I'm going to do it through the written if I got to read it. Either way, I'm going to be able to get those things accomplished, which is studying the greats, studying the legends, studying those who were here before us, studying those who have went on to build, companies that changed the world. So then they say the things that should entertain you and interest you. So like I said, anything that has to do with, taking me a step closer to my end goal. And again, it don't always have to be so business related, right? It could be me, going out with an individual who I really look up to. And I'm not saying in the sense of I want to be like them, but I respect them, right? And I love how they move. Me going out and having a smooth night with them, or a smooth day with them, that's cool. That's taking me a step closer to my goal, because those are individuals who I want to surround myself by. And I know that if I surround myself around the right individuals, even when we hanging out, we're going to be building something. Even when we chilling, we're going to be creating a master plan, because that's how this works, right? The things you should eat. So for me, all the things that fuel my body, right? So everything that I'm eating on is things that I feel like going to fuel my body, and keep me here as long as possible. That's my mission, you know what I'm saying? To be able to put things inside of me that's going to keep me here as long as possible to be able to accomplish my mission. Now, granted, every now and then, might drink something, might do whatever, whoop the whoop, but the whole goal, 95% of the time, my body, what's being put into my body is stuff that's going to be able to, give me more life, right? I'm eating to live. You feel me? And that's important because, again, like I told you, when you racing against a clock that you cannot see, and when you fighting against a person that you cannot see, then you don't know what's going on the other end. So all you can do is keep yourself to the highest level of greatness as you can each day. And then if you do want to, slack off or eat something, eat sweets or whatever, well, that's cool. But just know that when you're doing that, just be okay with whatever consequences come with it. It's simple, right? I can go out and drink tomorrow. That's cool, right? But if I drink too heavily, and I can't get up, and I stay in the bed all day, then as long as I'm okay with knowing that there's somebody else out there that got up early and that's hustling right now while I'm laying down, as long as I'm able to deal with my consequences, that's cool. I'm not now, if I get up and start complaining about it, then that's a problem, right? So I don't never tell nobody don't have a good time. Like, nah, do you. But just be prepared, be prepared to deal with your consequences in whatever way, shape, or form. And consequences does not just mean negatively. You can have good consequences as well. Your consequence of not going out that night and not drinking that night so you can get up at 5 o'clock so you can knock stuff out. That's a good consequence. A good consequence of that, you just pass somebody up who went out and did the opposite, right? So the only thing it is just reaping what you sow. That's it. So bam, list the top 5 people you associate with the most. At this time in my life, like I said, I'm very, very, very secluded. If I give you my time, it's because it meant something. You know what I'm saying? If I give you my time, it's because I respect you highly. Because the time is something that I know, my time, to be specific, is something that I cannot get more of. So my time is very valuable to myself. And so at this exact moment in my life, the list of the top 5 people I associate with the most, is going to be God, number 1, myself, number 2, from my different points of views, I'm able to talk to myself, from different perspectives. And so whenever I'm analyzing something, I talk to myself from different perspectives and internalize from different perspectives. And then once I got a sum of things, then I make my move, right? My tea lady, my baby, my mama, you know what I'm saying? My cousin, and then of course the internet, right? Because the internet will give you as much information as you need. And then number 7 is say, now compare those associates' habits to your goal standards. Do the people that you look up to match up? Yes. Do the places that you like to attend match up? Yes. Do the types of conversations that you like to have match up? Yes. Does the way that you dress right now match up? Yes. Do the things that they watch, does the way that they dress match up? Yes. Do the things they like to watch match up? Yes. Do the things they listen to match up? Yes. Do the things they read match up? Yes. Do the things that entertain and interest them match up? Yes. Do the things that they eat match up? For the most part, and to be honest, I don't feel like nobody around me got a more disciplined diet than my cousin, bro. My cousin, man, and that's because when I started doing it, a couple years after that, he started to, because he a personal trainer, so he started watching his diet a little bit after I did. But just like myself, when he put his mind to something, he lock in. But that's expected because our master numbers are 11. We both 11s. For those who are into numbers, then you'll know what that means. But for those who are not, that's another conversation for another day. Then number 8. Do your friends promote negativity? I answered no, and like I said, because most of the time I intentionally don't allow it, right? So it's either A, that's not even our conversations to begin with, or if it is some type of negativity, then it's because we're trying to solve it. So if it's not one of those two, then I'm gonna remove myself, or, and then honestly, sometimes, I'm so tapped into myself and so in tune that what I realize is sometimes I don't even have to remove people, they'll remove themselves. And I don't even have to understand why. I don't even ask those questions no more, right? I admire goodbyes because it's for a reason. And I've learned that once I stop trying to understand every single reason, that, your life would be a lot easier. So I don't even ask questions no more. If somebody remove themselves from my life, hey man, I wish you all the well, right? Nothing but love for you. So then it say tasks, right? So categorize your circle, improve your team, your roster, get a coach. In this example, I got a coach, man. My man, CEO Matty J, was happening. That's why we're going through what we're going through right now, right? That's why I'm doing this business in the box right now and recruit worthy associates, right? So for me, as the owner of my team, in my world, in order for me to be able to recruit, new teammates, and new members, I have to first be able to show that my team is worthy of being played on, right? Nobody want to play on a sorry team. People like playing on winning teams. People like playing on championship teams. And so just you can't just wake up and feel like you're a championship team. Nah, prove yourself. Earn your stripes. Pay your dues. And so all I'm doing and all I will forever continue to do is pay my dues and prove myself and keep winning, and showing individuals that this is a winning team, right? And that's why I say hence, doing what I'm currently doing. Because you have to be able to show individuals what your principles are, what your morals are, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. What you're not going to fold to, what you're not going to compromise, what you will compromise, where you headed, where you come from. Like, you got to be able to be honest with individuals, because if they can't relate to you, then why are they on your team? If they can't relate to the mission, then why are they on your team? If they want to ball out to themselves, but you building a team like the Spurs to where y'all are able to be able to play collectively with each other, then why are they on your team, right? But the only way that you're able to be able to see who's suitable enough for your team and for them to be able to see what team they want to play for, you got to have something that you stand on. If you don't have something that you stand on, then y'all are running around lost. And that's what I'm not trying to do. So I'm putting my foot down and I'm letting people know what I stand on, what I believe in. What my goals are, what my mission is, what I'm trying to accomplish, why I'm trying to accomplish it. What am I going up against? What am I facing? And if y'all feel like y'all can relate, then y'all can join on as well. And not joining the team as in being up under me, but joining this mission and making sure that we can all help each other get what we're trying to get to. So it's just like my self-interview process. If I'm interviewing myself, then what make you think I'm not going to interview you? Think about it. If I'm doing all this with myself, then what make you think I'm not going to do this with you? I'm not going to do nothing with you that I have not already done with myself. So that's why I'm going through this process, for everybody to see, right? Because now y'all going to know what's expected from me, because I've done it myself and I've documented it. You feel me? So I think that's everything from this one. And, as always, if you have not looked at all the other videos that we did, then go back and do that, right? Because you do not want to miss it. And then the next one, I think the next one is like time management. But before we do anything else, as always, when I'm doing this, I feel like it's safe to say that I just verbally went over this stuff with y'all. I just showed y'all, I walked y'all through what I was doing. So it's safe to say I'm able to be able to, bam, check this thing off. Oh, and also, too, this is something powerful right here. It say apologize and mend all relationships. Just because it wasn't your fault doesn't mean you're not responsible. That's real. And so that's why I always, and on my end, I guess I do this, but I do this in a different manner. I don't know why people walk out, right? I don't know why people walk out, my life. I don't know why people, get upset. I don't know why people do what they do. That part is not my responsibility. However, what my responsibility is to show them that on my end, everything is good. And on my end, I'm open to be able to communicate and converse with you if you're open to. And if you're not open to communicating, or if you're not open to being able to talk with me and let me know what's going on, or why you moving, how you moving, or why you changed up on me, or whatever the case is, then at that point, once I've done my part and reached out, I'm obligated to do nothing else but continue grinding and continue succeeding, right? And continue elevating at that point. But, me being a man, I got to first be man enough to be able to reach out and let you know, like, what's up, man, what's going on, right? And if at that point I hear nothing else, then cool. I did my part, right? And I'm going to keep it moving. So I definitely agree with that to a degree. And then they say improve your roster, right? And so I can say I can check that out because I do that. That's how I live my life, right? So then they say improve your roster, recruit a coach and worthy associates. So right now I got this coach, his name is CEO Matty J. That's why we're doing what we're doing right now. He was one of my first mentors. I actually went out to and was able to be able to see, touch, hear, and think like, and and follow around and see exactly what he was doing. And so right now, that's my coach. I'm going through his system right now. I'm on this team at this current time because, again, in order to be a leader, you got to have first served. And so right now, I'm serving, right, while still leading my tribe, but I'm serving in his, right? And so it takes humility. It takes no ego. It takes no pride, right, in order to be able to elevate to new levels in life. And so right now, I'm a servant to his roster. You feel me? That's my objective when it comes to what we're doing right now with this business in the box case studies. So hopefully I've been, playing my position as the point guard, leading the team correctly, right now as we're going through this whole trial and this whole business in the box template. So, like I said, I can check that out. And at this point in time, man, it's been yours truly, Mr. Vintage, a.k.a. Vintage Dads from Dallas, Texas. And we out. Gone.